Good evening, everyone. Now that this conference is being recorded, let me officially say good evening and welcome to those of you who are here in person. It's so good to see the council chambers keep filling up more each week, and that's awesome. And good evening to those of you who are with us virtually. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Calabrese,
Present.
Councilman Petrucci. He didn't hear you. I'm going to mark him as present. It looks like he might have some audio issue. Councilman Getzey, here. Deputy Mayor Sapp.
Present.
Councilman Pecora.
He phoned in earlier. He will not be present this evening.
Councilman Petrucci, can you please rejoin the call? Your microphone seems to be having some sort of issue.
Nobody's going to be here, so I'm just Are we okay with our technical issues? Can we go ahead? Okay, terrific. Thank you so much. We have a proclamation and a certificate of recognition. Are there any family members here today for Mr. Walter Zaraski? Whereas resident Walter Zaraski is a lifelong educator and will turn 90 years old on April 24th. And whereas Walter Zaraski began his teaching career at Penn Junior High School in 1958 as a math teacher and can still recite the roster of his first class in alphabetical order. And whereas he later assumed roles as an assistant principal, and served in Penn Junior High School, Linton Middle School, and Penn Hills Senior High School before retiring in 1992. And whereas Walter Zaraski has led a lifetime of teaching and learning in the Penn Hills community. Now, therefore, on behalf of Penn Hills municipality, staff, and elected officials, I am pleased to recognize and honor resident Walter Zaraski and hereby declare Saturday, April 24th, 2021 as Walter Zaraski Day in Penn Hills. Please join me in recognizing this outstanding citizen for his accomplishments and contributions to the Penn Hills community. Although the agenda says there will be a swearing in of the new officers, that will not occur until May.
Madam Mayor.
We would like to point out that the Chief Burton is on vacation, and it would only be fitting that he is here for the swearing in, and we have uniforms coming as well. So the swearing in has been postponed. The formal swearing in has been postponed until next month.
Madam Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, Councilman.
Okay, one thing I want to say before we move on. At this time, I would like to object to the agenda as it is. I feel that we need to see the Rotary's complete presentation on their proposal in regards to the William McKinley Center, as well as the library board in regards to the MOU for the library. The information has been out there on the library website and on our website for a while now, and we've had plenty of time to review the information. Both parties are there and ready to speak at this time.
Your objection is so noted, but I will let you know that I have spoken with the library board. They sent one representative. I've already spoken with her. I'm sorry, there are other individuals here this evening, but the representative that I have spoken with, and as well as at the last meeting, I spoke with individuals from Rotary, and I haven't heard otherwise. We suggested, rather than doing a 3-minute public comment session, that they actually give a full presentation. The reason being that no matter how noble or how good the outcome may be, or no matter how much the majority may support an initiative or an idea, there's still a process, and the process is, and it seemed to me that the members of Rotary totally understood that. I didn't hear otherwise, and likewise with the library board. They both seemed to welcome the opportunity to give a full-blown presentation. And as you know, from day one, back in 2019, I've been trying to restore the second meeting here. We have so far done that 2 consecutive months in a row with COVID opening up. So to point out, the municipal building hasn't closed during COVID. However, we did virtual council meetings. People have slowly have been coming back to meetings. Many, as we move towards most people getting vaccinated, and I'm seeing firsthand sitting here, our chambers are starting to fill up regularly. So we have so far had at least 2 consecutive meetings that were non-voting meetings. So we have the voting meeting and the non-voting meeting. At the non-voting meeting, that's where dialogue takes place, and that's where we can have presentations. Last week, I spoke with the Rotary, and we said, look, instead of trying to piece together a bunch of 3-minute segments, how about a full-blown presentation so the public can be educated? Likewise, I spoke with the library board, and they're happy to give a presentation. So although your objection is noted, I think that the individuals who are here, for example, we have somebody from Rotary who is going to speak. I think he probably would still want to keep his time.
I believe that the Rotary is unaware of them being allowed to proceed in a presentation. So is the library board. Neither one of them have indicated to me in the last 20 minutes that they were allowed to speak at this meeting, and I would wish they would be able to speak at this meeting, and let's hear them out.
Well, with all due respect, I spoke with both of them prior to this. I've been in this room for at least, I don't know, I arrived here. No, you don't want to do a presentation? We didn't speak last week afterwards when you were here? Right. So what our conversation was last week, and please correct me if my recollection is incorrect. After the representative a few days before, and it takes 7 days to get on the agenda. No representative asked within 7 days. So a few days before, you asked to speak at the last public meeting. You were told you need to give 7 days notice. So you followed the procedure and gave 7 days notice. However, at the last meeting, we said, how about if we do this? Each of us will take, what if one person takes 3 minutes to speak, next person takes 3, and the next, I said, why don't you do this? Why don't you give a full presentation instead of trying to do that? Because it's not fair to Rotary and it's not fair to the public. Let's just have a full-blown presentation, because again, no matter how noble or how good the end may be, and even if everybody in this room right now might agree with that, it's not fair to the public. It's not fair to the board at McKinley. To the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, there has been no dialogue between McKinley, the board of McKinley, and the Rotary. It may be a great idea, but to just thrust it on a group and to do so outside of the regular procedure that we do, we can't make exceptions for one group and then tell another group, oh no, you have to give 7 days notice, or you have to request a presentation, unless mayor and council think it's a great idea, in which case you can drop off a proposal on a Thursday or Friday and then we'll vote on it on Monday. The next item is the approval of the minutes. As I understand it, however, the minutes are not,
They're not completed yet, so we'll be approving those next month.
okay, terrific. Next, we need to move to ratification of expenditures. May I get a motion for ratification of expenditures?
Mayor Calabrese, I make a motion for the ratification of expenditures, approval of warrants through April 19th, 2021, journal vouchers at 0, CD requisitions 4 at $3,832.40, check number 48963 through 49258 in the amount of $3,298,132.18 with a grand total of $3,301,964.54.
Thank you. Any public comment? Any comment from council? Roll call.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci.
Yes.
5A approved.
Thank you. As we move to public comment, Mr. Njacek, will you?
Yeah, I will call the speakers in the order in which they signed up in advance to speak on non-agenda items. First is Felicia Harvey. Felicia, if you're on the call, could you please let us know? It doesn't look like she's with us tonight, so we'll move on to the second speaker. Tyler Tomasino.
So we'll hold this, Tyler Tomasino, 250 Northmont Drive. We'll hold it to 3 minutes, but Jared and I just have a couple different things to say each. Go ahead.
Good evening. And this is a abbreviated Rotary presentation, but thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. My name is Jared Delio. I'm the president of the Penn Hills Rotary Group, and this is Tyler Tomasino. We are presenting our proposal, which we submitted for tenancy and community use of the William McKinley Center. Background from the Rotary, right? Our club has a long-standing history within the community. We were formed in 1947. Our nonprofit club is comprised of Penn Hills residents, community leaders, business owners, and other professionals who meet regularly to plan and implement community service activities. Our club currently has 22 active members, making it one of the largest clubs in the Pittsburgh Rotary District. While our club's programming has certainly changed since its inception over 70 years ago, one thing has remained constant. The Penn Hills Rotary members are devoted to improving the community we call home. We have a scholarship program for Penn Hills high school graduates. We have delivered 4,000 dictionaries to third graders over the course of many decades, and we continue to uphold our commitment to this great community by hosting, various events and supporting our fellow community members in whatever way possible. One of the ways that we hope to continue to be able to do that and to broaden our outreach is by acquiring the William McKinley Center for community use. As a nonprofit, it's difficult to find a location in Penn Hills to hold regular meetings, have small office space, hold larger gatherings. Oftentimes, programming requires additional amenities that can further complicate locating a facility in the area, like the ability of a commercial kitchen. Therefore, our proposal is centered around solving this issue not only for our group, but for other nonprofits in the community. The building would be our primary headquarters where we conduct regular meetings. We'd also plan to open the office and meeting space to other nonprofits working to better the community, including organizations such as the Penn Hills Community Development Corporation, the Penn Hills Shade Tree Commission, the Rosedale and Crescent Hills Civic Associations, the Anti-Litter Group, etc. We believe having a permanent physical location for these groups to meet will not only better the group, but better Penn Hills as a community. Tyler had put forth a proposal with more specifics.
Yeah, so without getting too specific, basically last year the RFP was put out. There was really no serious inquiries, including from the McKinley board. So we had come up with this idea that we think by opening up that building to the community more, allowing other nonprofits to use it as office space, We really think that that would help Penn Hills out. It would help all these nonprofit groups out. And, we think would provide a future for the McKinley Center. We're no way saying that the McKinley board is doing a bad job or has done a bad job. We just think that we have an alternative plan that we would like to have seriously considered.
Thank you so much.
The next speaker that signed up is Anna Darling. Is Anna Darling on the call or in the audience this evening? It doesn't look like it.
Excuse me, I have a question. I want to address the council on issues that are not on the agenda. Do I have to wait? Is this the proper time, or do I have to wait till later?
It is the proper time, but to speak at the meeting on a non-agenda item, you have to sign up a week in advance. That's the Home Rule Charter's rule. That's the rule that's set down in our charter. So if you want to speak on a non-agenda item, you have to sign up a week in advance. In the agenda itself, if you want to speak on an agenda item as it comes up, you can address it when it comes up, though.
Okay. So I won't be allowed to speak essentially then. Hello?
This isn't the time for questions. We're at 7A right now under old business. That's where we're at. Were you signed up to speak, ma'am?
No. Is that consistent with the Sunshine Law that you have to sign up to speak?
That's consistent with both the Sunshine Law and our Home Rule Charter. You don't have to sign up to speak on an agenda item, but as per the Home Rule Charter, which has been in effect since 1976, you have to sign up a week in advance for any non-agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
May I get a motion for 7A?
I'll make a motion for 7A. It's
Thank
agreement
you.
between the municipality of Penn Hills and Lamar Advertising of Pittsburgh to provide transit shelters August 2021 to July 31st, 2030.
Thank you. May I get a second?
I second that motion.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
I just want to point out one thing, that on page 3 of the contract, just for everybody that was concerned the last time, the trash will be removed weekly, not bi-monthly, weekly. I had that inserted for y'all.
Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
7A approved.
May I get a motion for Resolution 8A?
Mayor Calabrese, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 8A 2021-11, awarding the 2021 Penn Hill Sewer Treatment Plant roof replacements to Contract A, including add alternate 1 to the TRS Roofing in the total amount of $216,800, and Contract B to Centermark in the amount of $45,619.60.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp.
Yes.
Item 8A approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for 8B?
I'll make a motion for 8B, Resolution 2021 of 12, adopting the Allegheny County 2020 Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Saab,
Yes.
8B approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for Resolution 8C?
I make a motion that we receive Resolution 8C, 2021-13, awarding the Plum Creek Sewage Pump Replacement Contract Number 2 to JP Environmental in the amount of $57,000 and $57,900.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Saab,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
8C approved.
May I get a motion for Resolution 8D?
I'll make a motion for Resolution 8D. Resolution 2021-14, approving the acquisition and subsequent disposition of vacant property located at 332 Garlow in accordance with the Vacant Property Recovery Program.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Saab,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci.
Yes.
8D approved.
May I get a motion for Resolution 8E?
I make a resolution that we approve Resolution 2021-15, approving the acquisition and subsequent disposition of vacant property located on Kim Lane in accordance with the Vacant Property Recovery Program.
Thank you. May I get a second to that motion?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
8E approved.
May I please get a motion for Resolution 8F?
I make a resolution that we receive and approve resolution number 2021-16, approving the acquisition and subsequent disposition of vacant property located at 112 Dauntless Drive in accordance with the Vacant Property Recovery Program.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp.
Yes.
8F approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for Resolution 8G?
I'll make a motion for Resolution 8G, Resolution 2021-17, improving the submission of a community conservation partnership grant for the accessible improvements of Penn Hills Community and Universal Park.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp.
Yes.
8G approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for Resolution 8H?
I'll make a motion for Resolution 8H, Resolution 2021-18, approving the submission of a concurring resolution expressing our cooperation with the Turtle Creek Valley Council of Governments in the submission of an Act 152 application of Allegheny County.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
8H approved.
May I get a motion for Resolution 8I?
I make a motion that we receive resolution 8I, 2021-19, approving a slum and blight resolution identifying the existence of blighted structures for Act 152 demolition funding.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci.
Yes.
8 approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for Resolution 8J?
I'll make a motion for 8J, Resolution 2021-20, approving the change order number 1 in the amount of $109,886 for Plum Creek Sewage Treatment Facility Upgrade Project.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Just to be clear, this is for the, maybe Rick Minsterman, you can jump in on this. This is because the clarification system has to be put underwater. Am I correct? Is this the one that has to be put underwater?
Yes, that's correct. Hello, council and mayor. I'm on vacation this week, so pardon my attire, but I did want to be available for any questions on any of the engineering related items. And Councilman Petruzzi's question is related to an upgrade to the UV system, the ultraviolet treatment system, which, as many of you may remember, we have a consent order to make a repair to this system because it wasn't functioning correctly. And as a result of that, this upgrade is to make the UV systems watertight. There is a concern from the current staff and Water Pollution Control Department Director, and I agree that there is a chance that the treatment plant can be inundated and these units could be submerged. And as a result of that, it is a recommendation to have them waterproof, to become waterproof. So the encasement casings are upgraded and the electronics are all moved out onto an electrical panel on the wall. So that's generally what's happening, and that will protect these units against the treatment plant, which does get overwhelmed on occasion by high storm flows, and will protect the system.
Thank you very much. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
8J approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for Resolution 8K?
I make a motion that we receive Resolution 8K 2021-21, awarding a contract to Jet Jack Incorporated in the amount of $46,950 for the Southern Avenue Storm Sewer Project.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp.
Yes.
Item 8K approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for Resolution 8I?
I'll make a motion for 8I, Resolution 2021-22, awarding the Multimodal 1 Phase 2 paving project to Liberoni Incorporated in the amount of $1,426,724.47.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Yes, Mayor Calabrese, this is Deputy Mayor Sapp. I'd like to ask our business manager if he can just give a brief synopsis of what the Multimodal 1 Phase 2 paving project entails. Because it's a large amount of money, I'd like a clear understanding for the public, please.
Sure, absolutely. We received a $3 million grant from the Commonwealth Financing Agency 2 years ago, and that money is part of what's called the Multimodal Fund. So we were fortunate to get $3 million in the first go around for paving. That's mostly what this covers. Last summer, we did the first paving under that grant. So that was phase 1 of grant 1. This is now phase 2 of grant 1. And the reason we're doing it that way is because there's a second grant from the same source that's also multimodal money that we got. We haven't even signed a contract for it yet because we actually got it late last year. That's for another $2.5 million. So phase 1 is really grant 1, and we're going to be doing paving out of that first grant last year, this year, and the year after. And then probably there's going to be an overlap where that second grant picks up probably next year, it's a 3-year program. So the second grant's going to pick up next year for the next 3 years. So the multimodal funding that we've received, we were fortunate to get that from the state. And we're going to be paving a lot of roads with that money. And we're going to be, there's a match that goes with it, as we all know. And so we're going to be using some of our own local dollars as the 30% match. If anyone would like to know what roads are going to be paved under the multimodal one, because that's the one we have under contract, that's available at our office, and it may even be online. But I know Mr. Shepherd is on the call as well. If you had any specific questions about what roads are going to be paved this summer, I would direct those questions to him on the specific roads.
Any further comment?
Yes, Mayor. I was just wondering, Scott, can this be posted on our website as well?
Absolutely, because all the roads went into the original contract, so there wouldn't be a problem with putting that online, what roads are going to be paved this summer with this money.
Okay, that'll be great. That way it'll, if people can't get up to the municipal building, they can just look online. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment? I would like to point out that this is a very, very big deal. And it is, I'm so glad that Mr. Shepherd is on the call, because to get this kind of money from the state is a reflection of the work that's done here in Penn Hills. When this isn't just a sort of run-of-the-mill award. This is the state saying, hey, Penn Hills, we have confidence in you. We know that you can handle this. We know that you can get the job done. So it's a reflection of our fabulous departments. It's a reflection of our fabulous of just the work that we've proven that can happen here. And so again, I'm so happy that Mr. Scott Shepherd's on the call, and I'm happy that other department heads are on as well. And I want the public of Penn Hills to know we really have a professional staff working here, and it's been recognized by the state. And I want the residents and the taxpayers to know that the work is getting done. This is just fabulous that we have money to do these pavings, and that the confidence has been placed in us.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Mayor Calabrese,
Absolutely, yes.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
8L approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for Resolution 8M?
Mayor, I make a motion that we receive 8M Resolution Number 2021-23, awarding a contract to Merit Electric in the amount of $46,600 for the Plexico Pump Station Generator Replacement Project.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call.
Councilman Petrucci,
Yes.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
8M approved.
May I get a motion for the last resolution on the agenda, 8N?
I'll make a motion for 8N, accept proposal from Jordan York in the amount of $2,200 for municipal-owned property at 224 Springwood Drive, and authorize the municipal manager to sign purchase agreement and prepare ordinance to process the sale.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Second the motion.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? I would like to just point out that this is a reflection of, we have many people moving into the municipality. We have young families coming in, and I think that's we're just really moving in a positive direction. Roll call, please.
Councilman Getzey,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilman Petrucci.
Yes.
8N approved.
Unless any member of council has unless anyone has any objections, can we combine the items for consideration and the reports?
Sure.
Good.
Okay, terrific. Having said that, Deputy Mayor Sapp, do you have any items for consideration or any reports?
I just want to remind everyone that our Penn Hills community parks are now open. Get your children out, get them some fresh air, let them run around. They've been cooped up doing virtual learning for a very long time now. So get out and enjoy the park. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In alphabetical order, Councilman Getzey, do you
Yes, I
have
have.
any items for consideration
Yes, I do.
and or reports?
Yes, I do. I have items for consideration.
Thank you.
I've been on council for 1 year and 3 months. And because of the pandemic, it's been very disappointing for that and some other reasons. One of the things I'm concerned about is we've brought up issues at council that have not been resolved. And I want to bring them up. I'm not asking for a resolution this evening, but I want to bring these up and ask for a resolution at least by the next council meeting. Early on, Planning Director Chris Blackwell made a motion to for an amendment for beds and breakfasts in Penn Hills, which we discussed. I wasn't familiar enough with his amendment, so I looked into it, and I think the amendment was fine. But unfortunately, it was tabled at the May meeting. It was never raised again. I raised it for one other meeting. It was eliminated from the agenda with my consent to be put on the next agenda, which it wasn't. So we have the bed and breakfast resolution I'm looking forward to. Last year, when I was new on council, there was an issue came up about noise ordinance because of the 4th of July, extended 4th of July. I think it extended from July into early September. People were complaining on Facebook and other ways about the noise ordinance. We discussed it at one meeting in length, and we came up with a kind of unusual conclusion. Yes, there was noise. There was no way to enforce it. And so I'm going to say we either bring it up and enforce it or delete it from the ordinances. We've talked several times about demolition of substandard properties. We've had no council meetings of any type to talk about any of these items in detail. So these items are just kind of drift. So the demolition of substandard properties is something I'm concerned about with the money coming in, the supplemental money coming in from the federal government. And I think it's important. Residency requirements, I'm not quite sure where that went. I had asked that residency requirements be abolished. We had some discussion about that. And I'm not quite sure where that stands at this time, but I'd like some comment or resolution to that. We've had no real detailed discussions of budget since I've been in office where we can sit down and discuss the budgets and budget concerns. So I would like to have a special meeting, council, or some type of meeting, executive meeting, informational meeting, to go into the budget and really discuss the budgets. I've been dissatisfied with the budgets since I was on. I've made comments to council before, and when we had the last budget approval, I voted no for the approval of the budget. I didn't get one comment from council, anybody, citizens, not one comment as to why I voted for no. Well, I voted for no because I'm dissatisfied with the budget. I'm dissatisfied with the way it's organized. And I've been going through it, and I plan to submit a report on my concerns. Now, I'm not saying there's any wrongdoing. I'm saying I think the budget is weak, and I think It has omissions, and I think it has incorrect things, calculations. It's hard to follow. So I'm asking again that if anybody wants to look at the budget and make any comments about it, I would appreciate it. I think it's good for the public to know, and but I am concerned about the budget. I'm asking that we have a special meeting to discuss the budget in detail. And the other thing is, with the stimulus money coming in, I'm concerned as to whether the stimulus money is going to be handled separately or whether it's going to be put into the existing budget. And I'm not sure how this will work out, but I'd like to see it handled separately so we can be accountable for that. Because I think if you put it into the existing budget, the problems I see in the existing budget will carry over into that. And it, in my opinion, it'll be kind of a muddled mess. There is another issue that's, I think, floating out there. There's been no appointments for some open commission slots, and I'd like to know why. I think we have some qualified people who can fill those slots, whose names are waiting there. I'm not sure how many, but if that's not true, let me know. But if it is true, my question is, why aren't they being filled? Let me see. The stimulus budget is an issue that council is going to be discussing. And one of the things I'm concerned about is, in what I know right now, there are some things I think need to be emphasized in there. And my particular thing is demolition of substandard properties, vacant properties. And I see there's some issues here about resolutions to some of those properties. I'd like to track those to see how they work out, where we're working with the county to have developers come in and do it. My position is we have so many properties that need to be demolished. They're detrimental to the neighborhood, detrimental to you if you live next one. And I think that has to be resolved. And I think that should be a major issue in the forthcoming discussions. I'm almost done here. I would like to see monthly or at least quarterly discussions about the budget done by council, the manager, and open to the public. Because when I was running for candidacy, I looked at past budgets, like 5 years past budgets and audits. A lot of questions about that. As a matter of fact, I'm not satisfied with the audits because the audit disclaims at the beginning, the audit measures money in and out. It doesn't measure the quality. It doesn't measure any other deficiencies. So I'm real disappointed in the budgets and the audits. I think we ought to look at those more closely and have some type of action taken to either upgrade them, fill in the gaps, make them better, make them more responsive. I am not a real numbers guy, but I think the budget should be something that the people can look at and make a continuation from budget to budget and see what happens. I couldn't do it. I've had some other people look at it. It's hard to do. So I'd like a total budget review and see what we can do. And incidentally, the budget method we use has been a finding in the last at least 6 audits that the method we use is secondary to the one that's used by, I think, was 80% of municipalities in the country. So that takes care of my list for this evening. Thanks for listening, and I'm not asking for any replies tonight, but I would like to have some next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilman Petrucci.
Well, I agree with a lot of the things that Jim said, and it's a tough act to follow after Jim gave his list, but I'll try to keep up, Jim. One of the things that I've been wanting to have done was let's get this MOU for the library done. Let's hear Kim Dawson's reports, and let's vote on it by the next meeting. I think it's been sitting on a shelf long enough that we pushed those people into this MOU. We all had a discussion. We said, yeah, let's let the library board go ahead out and try to get themselves a 501c3 and do their thing. And we let them do it. And now it's sitting on a shelf doing nothing. So let's try to get that done by the May meeting. Also, we've heard from the Rotary. Let's put it out there. Let's accept the proposal for the Rotary. I mean, it's better than we have. We have nobody that put an RFP in. We had nobody that was looking for this property. Right now, that proposal seems to be pretty nice for the community, and I think the community benefits from the Rotary and all the other nonprofit organizations that will be housed underneath that. We have so many items that are on a shelf right now that were put up there. We need to get them back down, or that shelf's going to fall. Every time we go to do something, we end up tabling something, and then it goes away forever. We can't keep on doing that. We got to get these things off that shelf, and we got to get them. We got to discuss them and get them on the agenda for the following month and get them voted on. That's basically what I have to say for tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. I typically don't, comment on other reports and so forth, but I would like to say, for example, Councilman Petrucci just said the proposal seems like a pretty nice proposal. Yes, it certainly does. I think I've shown that I'm a stickler for the procedures here. So when we talk about getting things on the agenda, how does that happen? Mayor and council, we work as a body. We are one unit. So when something gets tabled, for example, like Councilman Getzey said, the bed and breakfast ordinance, public people came here and they were opposed to it. I believe Councilman Getzey said he was the one that asked for it to be tabled. It was in fact tabled. And then what happens for that to get on the agenda again, we all meet as a body and decide what goes on the agenda. So it's not as if there's any one individual who is saying, hey, we're going to hold this up. That isn't what happens. We're following the procedure. The issue about the residency requirement, you can't simply abolish that. These are things that need to be, I don't want to step out of my lane here, but if that is something that that council wants to abolish, I suppose there's a way we can discuss that. But right now, these are things that are done through collective bargaining. And council doesn't have the ability, unless council doesn't have the ability to just come in and interfere with collective bargaining. In terms of not having, in terms of asking for quarterly discussions or monthly discussions on the budget process, we have been told, at least from the day that our finance director took her position, and as far as I know, at least when the manager took his position, myself, each and every member of council, and each and every person who lives in Penn Hills can come here daily if you want. To say that we haven't had meetings, I'm just sort of baffled by that, because again, we've been following the process. We call them public hearings, but they're meetings. You come in here and meet, or you do it virtually. And then we met as we've had informational meetings with mayor and council, with the director of finance, with the manager. So I just have to say I'm sort of baffled by that, because the doors are always open. The books are always open. And I'm very, very proud of the job that has been done, because there's no one person who does this alone, although it really is very much of the work is done on the back of our finance director, and then each department head, and then it flows down to council. I'm very, very, very proud that the municipality of Penn Hills has passed a budget for the year. Please keep in mind that there are other places, like the city of Pittsburgh and some other entities, who did not pass a budget for the year. Some places only passed it for 6 months. We passed it for 1 year, and we did it. And I say we, and really most of I'm very proud of the work that the director has done. We did it without the expectation of getting any money from the stimulus. Taxes were not raised. People did not lose jobs. Penn Hills did a fabulous, fabulous job at this budget, and I'm so proud of that. And I want us to always shout from the rooftops when good things happen, and that's a really good thing. So I'm very proud of that. In terms of the library and the Rotary, again, These are really, really good proposals, but we have to follow the policy and the process. And you would want that followed if it was another group against you. Not that there's any group against one group against the other, but the home rule charter says you need 1 week notice. And then what we finally have been doing, I've been trying to get this forever, is we're having a voting meeting and a non-voting meeting. The voting meeting is where we vote on the issues that come up. But the discussion and the education has to happen long before before the voting meeting. So I have spoken with, my understanding is Rotary is going to do a presentation. My understanding the library is going to do a presentation. I'll finish up here. I just want to say, no matter how good or how noble the idea is, and no matter whether or not the majority wants it, we don't steamroll over the minority so that we can just push our agenda through. Everybody should have a full and fair opportunity to be heard.
I add one more thing to my agenda. Are you finished, Mayor?
Yeah, actually, we are through, but
Can I add one more thing to my agenda?
Excuse me, we are through. However, in case since I was responding to what you put, I will give you the opportunity to speak, and I'm not trying to be overbearing, but again, what we do is we follow the process, and the process is each individual gets their opportunity to speak. So Councilman Gency, since I responded to the things that you have said, yes, please take a moment to respond in case I've raised anything that you want to respond to me.
Yes, I would like to say we should have a meeting so that everybody understands what this protocol is. Because, you know, if anybody can look at that budget and come back and say, Jim, we understand it all, I'd be happy to say that. But the budget and all these other items, how do we get this into the agenda? How do we get bed and breakfast? When I had that on the agenda for the meeting, you called and asked me if I would defer it to the next meeting, which wasn't a voting meeting, which I agreed to. It wasn't on that agenda. So if you get shut off that way, what do? I don't know. If you've heard my questions, so it may bring this to some type of conclusion if you take my questions and bring them to the meeting, and we'll just sit and listen to them. Thank you.
So just to clarify, the agenda goes out a week before the meeting, and mayor and council, we get a draft beforehand. Any member of council, any individual can contact the mayor or council, can contact anybody and say, hey, I'd like to put this on the agenda. And then what we do is we move as one body. We're one unit. We agree as a unit as to whether or not the item will be put on the agenda. So obviously, these items haven't been pushed forward. Part of it might be because, and I'm not, you know, for example, the bed and breakfast, there was a big outcry. We had the public came and spoke. Councilman Getzy himself, I believe, is the one who made the motion to table it. That happened. Now, if you want to bring that back, that's, you know, certainly you can follow the process and get it back on the agenda. But we function as one body. And if the body says to put it on the agenda, then it goes on the agenda. That's how it works.
Could I put all these items on the agenda for next meeting?
You can certainly ask.
All right.
You can certainly ask for that, absolutely.
Well, I could ask, but will I get an approval? All right, I'll put it on the next agenda. Tune in.
Well, again, see, one person doesn't put it on the agenda, and that's the problem. No matter how noble or how good it is, we don't operate that way. We operate as one body.
I'm confused now.
Well, you can read the Home Rule Charter, and that should clarify it, and we had training for this. And I think, at any rate, the process is set forth. It's very clear. I'm very happy that we will eventually move to I hopefully will move to 2 meetings. Having said that, we have so many great things happening, Penn Hills. Our budget, as I said, the $18 million, which is historic. That will never happen again in our lifetimes, most likely. Something this big hasn't happened since, who knows, maybe the New Deal, right? We have had one meeting on it. You don't spend $18 million in one meeting, but I'm very, very proud to say that our planner and our staff, the professional staff, had, without even realizing this money was going to come, had a plan in effect, and now we have the money to execute that plan. We are simply leagues ahead of other municipalities, boroughs, and townships. And again, we got this kind of money because we have proven that we have the ability to handle this sort of money. So I'm very, very proud of the money that's coming forward. I invite every single person, every single entity, anybody that has anything to do with Penn Hills, from the CDC to Rotary to whatever, you name it. This is your money. This is not the money of mayor and council. It's your money. So please come to the meetings and help us figure out how we're going to spend it. And as the deputy mayor said, the parks are open, and it's so wonderful to see so many people coming back in person. It's so awesome. Let's enjoy each other. Thank you so much. Having said that, may I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Mayor Calabrese, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Thank you so much. So the meeting is so adjourned. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, Penn Hills.